Hi everyone, my name is Prajit. Today we'll discuss about the importance of the virtual reality in the computer science. I'll just describe about the essence in the virtual reality which will be used in our daily life too. So let's go with the contents. I'm going to introduce with what is virtual reality, how the virtual reality works in the real world, applications of the virtual reality, what are the beneficials of the virtual reality, and in the future how the virtual reality works. Uh, Along with the advantages, we also know that every element has the disadvantages too. So you can see we'll also discuss about the challenges and the drawbacks of the virtual reality. Along with this, we'll also discuss about the conclusion. So let's start with the introduction of VR. So what is VR? So virtual reality, it's a technology where a person can be uh, sent into the computer generated world where we can feel we can't feel the environment, but we can check the surroundings that we have been in the separate place at a different location or time, which is quite amazing. So this is the most interesting topic in the computer science, where everyone likes it, from the youngsters to the elder people. So what's the use of the computer virtual reality? So we know many computer scientists make use of the virtual reality for making 3D data visualizations and mo- mo- which can help in modeling and simulations of the data analysis. This is also like this the simulation and the data analysis are very important. As we know, every organization and company starts doing their simulations by generating the data in their daily lives. So let's start with the working steps of the VR. Initially we need the hardware, like we need to purchase the VR. Hardware is very important component to make the VR work. Then we choose a environment, development environment, which can be the most famous one is the Unity 3D and the development kits, which it depends on the type of the project you make, which should be compatible. So you can select the own engines that you want to use it actually. Next, we can see that we need to create user-centered experiences, where people need to be like they need to feel like they're in the complete different world. That is like the sense of complete engagement. So to do that, we need to optimize the code and the assets, which decreases the motion sickness, as the user shouldn't experience any motion sickness during the experience of the VR. So by optimizing the code, the likelihood of the motion sickness decreases, and the responsiveness and the experience of the VR increases. So here we can see we can after making a virtual world, what we need VR environments and the objects, which are very important. Like the people feel the objects around them, and they see different types of objects and feel different types of object. Here the person need to see different objects in the world, and along with it, not only the seeing objects, whenever the object falls or whenever the object moves, there should be a sound effect that needs to be generated. So we employ the sound effects and the signals that are adjusted according to the user orientation, based on the position of the user. So we generate the sound effects. After the completion of this step, the most important step is continuously testing the VR application. After creating the virtual world, we don't know how the application works. It just comes under the developer view, but we need to take the responses from the user as well and check what feedback he can give to improve our virtual world actually. So the addresses need to be noted, such as the comfort and the controls and overall experience. Comfort sense of like motion sickness. Controls, it should be like easily controlled by the people who are not aware of the computer science or any other domain in the computer science. As we know, many people aren't aware of the computer science, but they make use of the gadgets. Yeah. So what are the applications of the virtual reality? Like we see, there are many applications, but the major one I noticed are the education and the training. We can like engage the students into the learning environments using the virtual reality, and we can also like generate the 3D views using the virtual reality, which will help the students in the better understanding of the subjects. It's mostly usually in the biology, chemistry, or yeah, the most and the sociology, which gives better view by showing the images of the object. Such as, let's go into the biology, we need to show the organ, so we can show the 3D picture of the organ and we can directly simulate it by making the students learn. The next application is the healthcare and the medical simulation. Simulation is the most important thing, which I have spoke in the introduction part. So we know many surgeries have been performed throughout the world, even in this second too. So to make the perfect simulations, perfect surgeries, simulations are much needed, which helps them to learn and perform the surgeries without any, like, which decreases the risk chances of the surgery. And the gaming and the entertainment, as we know, the virtual reality generally belongs to the gaming and entertainment industry. uh, we know these days the youngsters are using a lot of virtual reality in the gaming, um, and it's also one of the entertainment. We can use it as a 3D entertainment in the virtual reality too, and there are many more, like we can this is used in the militaries, and it's used in the e-commerce, and many other applications are there for the virtual reality. So here are a few examples I picked for the virtual reality. And you can see for the education, we see that Allspace VR offers the virtual classrooms, which helps in the interactive learning experiences from, and it's also used from the remote locations too. And in the gaming industry we see Octrift, which helps in generating the virtual worlds and games such as Beat Saber and Half-Life Alyx. Next, the training simulations. We see that I mentioned it in the previous slide about the military, right? So here you can see by simulating them, we can train the army, and which will help them provide the safe and the cost-effective way to practice the complex procedures without using any external objects, which also decrease the cost and the time. So what are the benefits of the VR? We see that memory retention, which is the most important thing in the VR. By doing this, we can make the better memory retention due to the immersive interaction nature of the technology, and reduce risk and cost. You know, like whenever, let's take the example of the military itself. Like during the training, we see many of the soldiers get hurt. There is a chance, like actually there's a chance to get hurt. So to avoid such things, we can reduce the risk, as well as the cost associated with the real world training is too much. So we can generate it directly into the VR, so that we can reduce the cost by avoiding the purchase of the items. And the collaboration and the remote work, we know like nowadays remote work has been in the peak. So by using the VR, we can directly remotely access for any applications, like the online classrooms, the games, and many other things, by sitting from the one location, as well as the accessibilities. This is one of the sub factor of the remote work, where we can see the individuals with disabilities who can also uh, like disabilities also can use the virtual reality without any problems actually. So here we go to the future of the VR. We know that VR is getting improved day by day, and many researchers has been performed in the VR. So by using of this structure, I think this will help the youngsters create an interest in the virtual reality, and help and move with the course, and also learn more about the virtual reality and conduct more and more experiments, which will help in the upgrade of the VR. So here you can see the educational and the training. VR will continue to transform education and training by improving more interactions in the virtual classrooms and the hands-on simulation. Uh, as I said, we can access directly, we can sit remotely and access anything in the world, right? So here, access in sense of just uh, observing the object, not like feeling it or grabbing it from somewhere else. Okay, so here we can see the virtual travel and tourism, where we can directly visit the places without moving from one place or moving from one place, or we can save the time and the cost. So, and also we can see nowadays the augmented reality is also getting converged with VR, which allows the users to ability to switch between real and virtual environments actually. So this could also help in like upgrading the VR in the education, gaming and remote work applications. So what are the challenges and the drawback? As we see in the works of the step, we check that the motion sickness is the most important factor which affects the VR. So that's the actually challenge where the user shouldn't feel any dizziness or nausea or discomfort during the use of the VR. That doesn't mean we need to purchase an expensive hardware, but it should be decreased using the code, and we need to optimize the code here, but the challenge doesn't get completely mitigated by optimizing the code. And the hardware will also be the expensive one. As we know, whenever the VR gets upgraded, new chipsets and the new hardware is being used for better experience of the VR, and the content is very limited. The memory, like simulating is not an easy task where a lot of memory will be used actually, and that means the quality of the simulation should be, if it is high, then the memory usage will also be high actually. So my conclusion is like by learning this course, students get more interest in the VR, and they get more involved with the VR, and which will help them understand what is VR and how the VR is being used in the daily life, and which sorry. So we embrace this technology and we invite new students to come into the course and develop more new things in the VR. So I think students should be ready actually with their virtual reality hardware, which will be, I think this is the most exciting and the dynamic course which you will enjoy a lot. I hope by learning this course, new technologies can also be like the VR can be used in many other domains too in the future. Thank you.